Hey everybody, it's Dalton. I haven't fallen off the planet or anything. I just haven't been fishing in a while. It's pretty close to a month. Things are going well as far as my surgery that I had and on my eye. It's healing really good. I'm back to driving. I don't have the double vision anymore, which means next week I'm gonna go fishing. Finally, I'm going to get back out to Lake Nacimiento. Normally a video like this I would have already done, but obviously I had a unexpected break in the action that had to be dealt with. So I want to talk about just a little handful of some winter baits that I think will work pretty good out there at the lake. I want to start with just simply a Texas rig worm. This is a 6-inch worm that I pour. It's a blue one. I've got some other colors, but this blue has worked for me pretty well in the past. And the reason I want to have a Texas rig worm is if I get in those areas where I'm getting hung up a lot, I'm just going to simply have that ready to go and I'll be able to fish those areas. Like I say, it's worked pretty well for me in the past, particularly when you get on those bluff walls with all those rocks. It works pretty good. Another thing that I'm going to use, and I'm going to show you guys here in just a minute some baits that I'm going to try out. But I'm obviously going to have some type of a crankbait tied on. Not sure which one yet. And definitely going to throw the jig. I've done some recent jig videos. That's not going to change. It's going to be the same setup, same everything. May change the weight size of the jig, but it's going to be the same thing. I'm going to throw a jig. Now, sometimes I like to call it spaghetti on the wall fishing. And what I mean by that, if you've ever liked pasta or spaghetti, one of the old ways that we found out that our noodles were done is we would take a couple of them and throw them on a wall to see if they stuck, and if they stuck, that means they're ready. So it's kind of the same idea with some of these baits. I just recently got some new baits, and I want to check them out to see how well they're going to work. One of them is going to be a crappie jig, because I'm still going to try to catch those crappies. It's not my strength, crappie fishing. I do have a hard time finding them, but once I find them, I typically catch them. So from Bass Pro Shop, I just ordered a little crappie jig here, both white and chartreuse in color. It's a little 1/16 ounce. It's basically a hair jig. I'm going to be giving this a try. I'll let you know how that goes, particularly if it goes well. Another thing, not long ago, Ott Defo was doing a live on Facebook. It was about 45 minutes. He was out in the river fishing, and he was using a bait that I was not familiar with, so I just liked the way it looked, and I went ahead and ordered some. The bait is called shad bod. You got to get them through Bass Pro Shop, Cabela's, they're the same thing. This is kind of a cool looking shad style bait. One of the things that's gaining popularity is to take fluke style baits and use them like you would a swim bait. Sometimes you'll shake your rod tip, move it around, but it really is a very effective way to fish. So this is a fluke style bait. I just like the profile. It's a nice thick plastic. It's really strong. Definitely could use it for a chatterbait, but I'm going to rig it in a couple of different ways out there at the lake. First of all, a little heavier one. I'll throw this on a bait caster with 12-pound test, but this is a 3/8 ounce jig head by Fish Head, and I've got it tied on like this. Just simply going to swim it along really slow, get longer casts with a heavy weight, and get down there deeper. Another way I'm going to do it. Some of you are likely familiar with the darter head technique, where usually you take like a 4.5-inch worm or something like that. You cast it out, it hits the bottom, you kind of snap it off the bottom. And what happens, it literally darts. And it won't do the same thing every time. Sometimes it'll go this way, sometimes it'll go that way, whatever it does. But I've got it set up on a darter head. I'll be throwing 8-pound test on this. This will be a spinning rod. Now here's the one that I think is going to be something I'm going to use a lot. So before I had my surgery, I took my wife out fishing. The videos are out there, and I wanted to get her started in jig fishing, but I know she likes the Ned rig. So all I did was took a little jig and put a Z-Man TRD on it. When we got to the lake, I said, let's take a look at it real quick. So there at the ramp, we had some clear water. I cast it out, and I'm telling you, for me, it was eye candy. I absolutely loved the way it looked. So let me tell you how I'm doing this. This right here is a little 1/8 ounce jig that you can get at Bass Pro Shop. It's a little tungsten finesse jig. And then what I do, I order a new color on these TRDs. This color here is called Hot Snakes. Now, if you're not familiar with the Elastec baits, I think there's something that'll help you out a little bit. Actually, Z-Man recommends this. Take the bait and give it a good stretch. What it does is it releases some of the salt that's in there, but it also makes it a lot more buoyant when you're using it. Now what I do is I take this jig and I trim the trailer. I trim it no less than 1/4 of an inch at the bottom of the hook. I want this trailer short. The other thing I do is I go ahead and put the TRD worm on. I use a little bit of super glue, and that way it stays on real good. This little jig's got a little weed guard, so it helps a little bit. But the thing that is the real eye candy is when you throw this thing out there, it's gonna stand straight up. And then, hey, what's up? FedEx man. It's gonna stand straight up, and the skirt itself is gonna start floating up, and it just bulks up the Ned rig. And we were getting bites on this, but what I'm thinking, because you're kind of, combining that jig approach, it might result in some bigger bites. In fact, this may become my favorite way to throw a Ned rig style bait. So these are some of the things I'm doing. I'm just out here getting ready. I'm having fishing anxiety. I just need to get back out there. I need to get the boat on the lake. I need to get back on the water. I need to get out there and fish. I miss it. I've got to go out and reacquaint myself with the lake. Levels of the lake are about the same as when I fished it a month ago. And not sure what the water temperatures are and all that. I'll figure all that out when I get there. But I really believe that a lot of these baits that I've showed you are actually good baits. Are actually good baits for fishing out there in the wintertime. And there'll be some others, but these are the ones I'm going to start with. Thanks for your prayers, guys, as I went through the surgery. I went to Stanford a week ago. They said I'm healing well. Not 100%, but a whole lot better than I was. It's going to take a few weeks. I thank you all. Appreciate you. Talk to you next time.